Some days we feel like we've got it all together, and some days not so much. Let's be real about it. Hello and welcome back to Voice After 50. And if you're new here, welcome. I am so glad you've joined me in this little corner of the podcast world. Just a heads up, this isn't one of those podcasts where I pretend to have everything figured out, because I really don't. This is a journey podcast and a space for honesty where I share with you what I've discovered, what's been on my mind, things that we can reflect on, and for asking the messy questions and talking about things that bother us out loud rather than in hushed whispers, and just generally sharing our thoughts, feelings and opinions on all manner of things that impact us from 50 and way beyond. So today's reflection starts with this simple but persistent and reoccurring feeling. Looking at other people's achievements, or what we perceive to be achievements, and suddenly feeling like we've fallen behind. It's surprisingly hard sometimes, isn't it, not to compare yourself to other people, even when you know better. Even when you tell yourself, I shouldn't do this, it still happens. I caught myself in that spiral just a few days ago, scrolling through LinkedIn. Felt like all my peers were posting about promotions or exciting developments and changes in their lives. Honoured to be chosen, excited to announce. You know how it goes. Everyone seems to be winning awards, starting new ventures, making career pivots into dream roles. And here am I thinking, I made it through Tuesday without losing my mind. Yay me! Where's my award? And it's not just LinkedIn. Go over to Facebook or any other social media platform and there it is again. People sharing life updates, dream vacations, retirement plans, business launches, milestones achieved, and so on and so on and so on. And it's a bit like that scene in the movies. You know, the iconic scene where the main character is frozen at the centre of the frame, not moving, not speaking, just there, while everything around them rushes by in a blur. Crowds push past, horns blare, the world spins like it's late for something. But the protagonist, they don't move. They can't. Now, take away the camera and that moment becomes something we've all felt. It's when you look around and realise everyone else seems to be going somewhere. New jobs, new relationships, adventures, growth, motion. And you're still in the same place. Still scrolling, still waiting, still stuck. It's like you've slipped into slow motion while the rest of the world hits fast forward. And sometimes, if I'm honest, it leaves me wondering, why do I feel like I've been standing still while everyone else is sprinting forward? That's where the self-talk starts. You know, that inner conversation you have with yourself all day long? Sometimes it cheers you on, but a lot of the time it's, less than helpful. Mine can be a bit like a sarcastic roommate in my head living rent-free and you can't evict. I've tried the whole stand in front of the mirror and repeat your affirmations routine. You know, I am worthy, I am accomplished, I am powerful, etc., etc. And yes, sometimes I feel a little more uplifted afterwards and positive. But some days, honestly, it just feels like words bouncing off the wall. And you reach this point, especially in your 50s, where you realise you've done all the things that you're supposed to do to help you move forward and feel accomplished. You've read the books, the half-finished self-help ones at least. You've signed up for the workshops, the webinars, and the online courses that promise 20 steps to a fulfilled you, only to realise step 21 is signing up for a £250 programme. You've answered enough personality quizzes to qualify as a part-time psychologist. You've done the career aptitude tests, and yet there's still that underlying sense of limbo and searching and limbo. Like you're doing everything right, but it's like being on a treadmill, running, sweating, working hard, but somehow you're not really getting anywhere new. And honestly, what do you do with that? I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I don't have a simple answer. And I promised myself and you that I'd show up here and tell the truth. not offer you some neat 5-step solution like I've cracked the code, because clearly I haven't yet. But I do think maybe part of the answer is changing what we're measuring ourselves against and who with. Maybe the reason why we feel like we're falling short is because we're measuring ourselves against a checklist we didn't even write, against milestones that maybe just don't matter as much to us personally, comparing ourselves to lives, achievements, etc. that are not our own and were never meant to be. Oh, and I think I've just had a eureka moment. Here's the thing, even in movies, that stillness, it's never the end of the story, is it? It's a turning point, a moment of pause before the protagonist chooses something bold or real or necessary. And maybe, just maybe, that's what it is for you too. I've decided to try the experiment. Nothing grand, just a small shift. I don't know if it'll help, but hey, it's worth testing. No social media scrolling first thing in the morning. I'll wake up, make my coffee, and instead of doom scrolling or achievement comparing, I'll sit quietly and journal for 10 minutes. Nothing structured, just a brain dump. And by that I mean writing down, or you could do an audio recording instead, whatever's on your mind. No editing, no structure, no pressure to make sense of those racing thoughts, to-dos and worries. It's a bit like decluttering your brain's desktop before the day begins, making space for calm and creativity and intentional action. It doesn't have to be profound or productive. You just write it out or record it, messy and honest. Some of you may do this already, and I don't expect it to be life-changing in the dramatic sense, but I do think it will make the mornings feel calmer, more grounded, and quiet some of the noise, and focusing on you. And remember to make a note of the small wins too. It can be simple things like, I took a proper lunch break yesterday. I went for a walk without my phone. I called a friend just to chat. Tiny things, but things that matter. It'd be really nice to hear from you on this. Have you found little ways to quiet that comparison voice? Have you made peace with your own timeline in some way? What's worked for you? Send me a message or an email. I'd really love you to share your reflections, which I could include in a future episode. Let's make this like a proper conversation. Before we close today's episode, I'll leave you with this. What if the goal isn't about keeping up with anyone else, but to get better at listening to ourselves? What if progress after 50 isn't about climbing ladders, but about finding steadier ground? What if it's about feeling calm more often, noticing joy more easily, and letting go of the need to constantly measure or prove ourselves with and by external applause and accolades? Anyway, that's where I'm at these days. Still learning, still figuring it out, still showing up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, for allowing me to ramble and reflect. I'm Beverley, and this is Voice After 50. Until next time, be kind to yourself, be patient with your process. Talk soon.